Whether we're speaking one-on-one or to a group, we have the power to be persuasive if our arguments are strong and if we use rhetorical tactics such as the following. Because the transcript of this is going to be in Psychology Today, I'm going to use the example of a psychologist talking to an individual or a group. First, appeal to core values. Those could be broadly held values such as merit, effort, and beauty, or it might be more specific to your audience. In our psychologist example, values likely held include that improvement is possible. More specifically, if you're talking to a cognitive behavioral therapist or a group of them, it's usually wiser to look at current thinking. Their value is that it's usually wiser to look at their client's current thinking, perhaps erroneous thinking, than to go back and spend a lot of time on childhood trauma. In a different context, another example, outside of psychology, values could include community as opposed to freedom, or vice versa, family first versus work first, or even God first. To make it easier for the speaker to be persuasive, they generally opt to talk with people who would agree on such values. That's why liberal politicians generally talk to their faithful, conservatives to theirs. Another rhetorical trick is not the right word, tactic, in addition to appealing to core values, is confirmation bias, taking advantage of confirmation bias. That's a more granular corollary of appealing to core values. It's easier to persuade people to adopt your idea if you point out its consistency with what they're already doing. To take our psychologist example, if you're proposing a new technique, first show how it's similar to what they're already doing. Not only does that take advantage of confirmation bias, it implies that the change won't be that difficult. It builds on what they're already doing. A third rhetorical tactic is to invoke a respected bandwagon. A standard technique for influencing is to say that other people are doing what you're proposing. It's even better than just generally saying that, to invoke a respected bandwagon, for example, a poll of leading psychologists, or if that's not available, cite an expert's endorsement. Another rhetorical tactic is what I call rhetorical jujitsu. Use their argument or their values to support your contrary opinion. For example, psychoanalysts stress the importance of looking at causation, not just coming up with behavioral strategies. Well, a cognitive behavioral therapist who's trying to change their mind might say something like, "You're right. And we've found that it's usually more helpful to look at contemporaneous erroneous thinking than childhood issues." Another tool for persuasion is to sandwich the controversial. Often it's wise to make your most controversial point penultimately, that is, after you've made points that are easier to agree with, but before your final powerful point that they're also likely to agree with. So, for example, you believe that one-session therapy is often ethical as well as cost-effective. That's going to be controversial. Stick it in the penultimate position. And then the final tool is relevant to this. It's end inspiring. If possible, end with an emotional story that you know will inspire your listener or listeners. Maybe it's a success you had with a challenging client. Rhetorical tactics for persuasion, can be powerful, and like all power, can be used for good or ill. We could do worse than to follow Google's old slogan, "Don't be evil." In any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.